out there who's 73 years old who's thinking about potentially going back to coach football, which is kind of amazing, really, when you think about it. But I'm talking about Nick Saban. And here's the interesting part. A lot of people think, because of some of the commentary that he's made, that there's a possibility that he would open that door again to do that. Now, I think he's capable of shutting that door if he chooses to, too. But I saw the interview the other day, John, and he was talking about his wife. He always addresses her in a very interesting way. But he was talking about his wife, and he said, look, she's all over the place. I'm all over the place. We're two people that have never been stuck in a house, basically, is what he was saying, together as much as they are now. So would he do it? I think the answer is, under the right circumstances, he would, John. But here's the big question. Does he actually give the NFL one more shot? Because it did not work in Miami when he bounced around. He was at Michigan State back when I was playing at Minnesota, and he went to LSU, and then he bounced around here and there and went to Miami. It didn't really work out, but obviously it worked out very well at Alabama. I mean, they absolutely love him. I mean, he did everything. So here's the question for you. One, does he go to the NFL, or is there a college job that maybe sort of opens up if they think that they could get Nick Saban? Or does he actually go to the NFL? And a lot of people are saying the NFL, John, because they look at the Browns and they think, you know what? He drafts Arch Manning. They've got a quarterback then, because they've got 4 quarterbacks, but do they have any right now? And you and I were just talking about that yesterday. They've got plenty. We don't know on the 2 young guys who are coming out of college whether or not they're going to be great or not. One of them, Shedeur Sanders. But the reality is that one or the Rams. And that's another one that people are looking around saying, he really could fit in there. Both teams have 2 first-round picks each in the 2026 draft. So that's enticing, I think, to a coach who wants to get his own quarterback, whoever that might be. What do you think? Do you think that there's any chance at 73 years old, John, that Nick Saban says, I think I'm going to visit this. I'm either going to go to, dare I say it, Alabama, because the guy so far has not done great or whatever at Alabama. But does he go to Alabama? Does he go to somewhere else? Does he go back into the NFL and give that another whirl? What do you think?
Well, he wasn't even thinking about it, supposedly, Pete, according to that ESPN interview, until he said, Mrs. Terry, as he calls her, told him to go downstairs and, why don't you go down there and vacuum for a while and see how much you like it? And he said, while he was down there doing that, he said, I don't like this much. I think I like coaching football a lot more than this. Pete, I know he's a disciplined coach, and he's also a coach that just loves his players, but he was able to get the best of the best in college. I would think he sticks with the college route if he goes back, Pete. If it's still a big if. And I don't think it'll be St. John's up there in Minnesota. But could, if the right situation came up, again, because he's not going to do it this year.
No.
But if one of the big schools has an issue with one of their coaches, like, who knows what, does something bad, says something racist, whatever, could he step into a situation where he's got a world-class team already and then gets 2 more national championships or whatever and hangs it up? I think something like that would be more appealing to him because obviously he doesn't need the money. I mean, he was the top paid coach for years. And I think it was between $8 and $10 million a year. I don't see him going to LA though, Pete. It's too far. I don't think he's ever lived there. He's probably just gone there for broadcasting. So I'd say, I think it's college.
I'm going to push back and say the only reason I would say maybe not college, I think one of the things and one of the reasons he left, John, was he got frustrated with what college sports has turned into, with the portal, and you recruit a guy and then all of a sudden the guy's not happy because he's not on the field. So he wants to go into the portal or the NIL and all the rest of it. It's the only reason. I think you're right. I think under the right circumstances, he could take one. But it would really have to be the right circumstances because I think he's tired of the way college sports, but football specifically, has turned into. All right, next one up. I got one for you, John. How about this? Who's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL? Now, there's a lot of names you could probably come up with and just say, well, this guy, he's pretty damn good. Blah, blah. Baker Mayfield, he was a bust. He's one of the big busts of all time, right? He goes to Cleveland. Cleveland goes crazy to get him, and all the rest of it doesn't work out. Goes to Carolina, it really doesn't work out. Goes a couple other places, doesn't really work out. He goes down to Tampa, John, and the guy has really turned into a really great, underrated quarterback. Here's some numbers from last year. 4,500 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. That sounds pretty good to me. He's number 2 in touchdowns, number 3 in passing yards per game, number 3 in total yards, and number 2 in completion percentage, only to Goff, who had the best completion percentage. So I find it really, really intriguing that Baker Mayfield has been able to do this. He seems like he's really put himself together, John, because I think when he came out of college, he really probably wasn't really a guy who was together. He had some issues in college that weren't very, very good, that a lot of people were very disappointed about. But that's all in the past now. And now the guy is like this absolute total stud quarterback. His receivers absolutely love him. His offensive line loves him. So, pretty amazing. I couldn't really think of too many others where I'd say, this guy's maybe more overrated than Baker, but maybe you got somebody in mind. Anybody?
Well, I was going to say Geno Smith, Pete, but then when I looked at the stats in terms of touchdowns, it's not close.
No.
And in terms of interception to touchdowns, it's not great. Geno Smith had an awful lot double-digit interceptions last year, and that will turn a game against you pretty fast.
Yeah.
So Baker wasn't making the same kind of mistakes, Pete, and some of it could be, like you say, because he has got a chip on his shoulder, that he plays with that chip and always tries harder. I'm not saying Geno doesn't try hard, but man, I think Baker is the most underrated quarterback, and he could sure be playing in the big game this year, Pete. He sure could be a Super Bowl quarterback. It's just a question of whether or not Tampa has enough gas in the tank.
And I'd throw one other name that even though he's gotten paid, even though he's done this and he's done that and everything, I still don't think people appreciate Brock Purdy as much as I do. I think that they look at him and they go, well, but, it's this, it's that. Well, it could be partially that, but that guy, John, when he has the tools around him and they're healthy, McCaffrey, if he's healthy, and some of the receivers who've been banged up and offensive linemen who've been banged up and all that kind of thing, he didn't have a great year last year. He didn't. But he didn't have an offensive line that could protect him. He didn't have the same kind of receivers and the rapport with those guys to be able to, feel like he knew where their next step was going to go and all the rest of it. And Christian McCaffrey, I don't care what anybody says. I'll tell you, King Henry is the best running back, but best player, I think, might be McCaffrey, might be the best player in the NFL because he can do it all, and he's an absolute freak show athlete. I mean, beyond freak show. He is so impressive. People don't realize it. He might be the fastest guy in the entire NFL, and nobody knows it. I mean, he's a pretty special player. But, yeah, I hear you, and that's why I think that Brock Purdy's probably underrated too, John. I think too many people just they just don't believe in him because he was such a late draft pick, right? I mean, that I think was the chip there, but he doesn't care where he was drafted. Look at what he's put up over the first couple of years in the NFL. Not so bad. All right.
Well, let's take a little look here, Pete, and see what our old friend Pat McAfee had to say, because believe it or not, Pete, I bet most people don't know this. He was going to be going to Kent State and instead played in a poker game and won enough money to go to a kicker camp. And at that kicker camp, they decided, we'll give you a scholarship to a bigger university. We'll just listen to a little bit.
Yeah.
World Series of Poker was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It was on ESPN. We all watched it. There was a dude named Chris Moneymaker who was just this basic ass white who I think like blue collar from middle America, where he became a millionaire overnight. So pretty much every community that was like mine, from what I've learned from growing up, we all started playing poker because we thought that was going to be a way for us to make money and get rich. I became a good poker player. I'd be playing in my friends' houses. Obviously, it's like 25 cent, 50 cent blinds, very small antes and everything like that. We all thought we were going to be the next World Series of Poker champions. But it was a good way for us to make money to spend for lunch, extras, things like that. I got a call like a month before signing day that there was a kicking camp happening down in Miami, Florida.
That's
by a guy
him
named Mike McCabe.
talking about that kicker camp.
I was in
Because
physics
this
class
guy
when
had
the
a
call
kicker
happened.
camp and
The
he
guy's
got
number
invited to
overnight.
it. And the fact that he got invited to it, was a big deal.
And opened it up.
But it was $1,500, even though he was invited. So he's like, I don't, he said, my mom and dad worked hard. They didn't have $1,500.
Right.
So he went into a poker game with his dad's friends, Pete, and he ended up winning $1,400. And he gave it to his dad and he said, Dad, you give me 100 more and I'm there. Dad gave him the 100 more. He went to the camp. He won the camp, Pete. He was the best kicker at the camp. Got a full ride to, I think it was West Virginia, Pete.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's killer. You know what? He's a big guy. He's a likable guy. He's a smart guy. He's obviously pulled all of that into what he has become off of football, right? I mean, the guy he's as big as it gets in the world. It's just crazy.
He's broadcasting and media. There's really no name right now that's bigger than him.